Hey guys, it's Rafi, and today I'm playing a game here on Chess. 10 plus 5 game against a pretty strong player rated 2200. And we have a Nimzo Indian, and he's playing his moves very, very quickly here. Um, Definitely seems like someone who is well versed in his or her opening preparations. So yeah, we will just keep playing from here. Um, I think I'll take with the queen. Um, I'll not create a pin here. Hoping that this pin will be kind of annoying to have to break. So that's interesting. Bishop a6 there. I guess I'll just return my queen. Oh, queen a4 is interesting because that keeps the knight from being able to develop naturally. But it does let him play queen to d7, which I'm not sure if I am interested in that, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna play queen back to c2. The idea here is that, once I pull my pawn, push my pawn up, he wants to go ahead and capture and, keep me from being able to castle. But I have other ideas of developing bishop with g3, possibly with bishop g2, and putting it on this long diagonal since he did open this up. So here, I think, yeah, I will just play g3 and bishop g2. I think I like this opening as white because there's some flexibility in how to play the position, so makes it very interesting. So I'm not able to maintain the pin anymore. So let's go ahead and put the bishop on f4. We do have kind of a threat on c7. Immediately, the threat is to play queen takes c7. If he plays knight here, we may not be able to take with the bishop on c7. We might be able to. I don't know. Knight f5, knight h5, bishop c7, rook c8. Okay, so he first defends the pawn. He's going to push this now. I'm actually going to preemptively put this rook on d1 because as soon as he plays c5, then I can go ahead and take it. So it's going to discourage him from playing c5, basically, is what's going to happen. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this move in here. Chances are he'll play knight h5 next. If c5 and dc, rook takes, it's definitely playable. But again, his queen will feel uncomfortable for a while, and then we'll have a rook on the open file. So not too worried about this. Well, that's an interesting move. So I think putting the bishop on d2, he might just play c5 in that case. I don't know. I think I'm tempted to kind of return this bishop back to c1 all the way. Now that our rook is out of the way, let's put the bishop back all the way. Bishop b, bishop g2. is probably coming next from me. From black side, something like c5 is likely. Just striking at the d4 pawn. That seems to be the move that kind of strikes out at me. Rook e8 is maybe a possibility. Knight d to f6, knight d7 to f6 maybe. Possible move. Bishop b7 is a possible move. So there's a lot of ideas here black can go for, but I think c5 seems to be the one that screams out to me the most. I'm a little bit underdeveloped here, but I do have the bishop pair, which is kind of the theme of the Nimzo is black gives up the bishop pair, but does get a quick development of his pieces. White is a little bit behind on development, but does have the bishop pair to go with it, which maintained can become very, very strong. So yeah, I do think the black's bishop on a6 is not ideally placed anymore. I think to begin with, I mean, putting that bishop there kind of was a little strange. The a pawn is now kind of blockaded, and I don't know how I feel about that move personally. So here I'm tempted to just maybe take and play queen b1, but then knight b3 may be annoying. Queen to a4 is also interesting here. Hits the bishop, gains the tempo. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this move without thinking about it too long. I'm expecting bishop b7, after which I'll play bishop to g2. Bishop b7, bishop g2. He takes on d5, or d4, rather. Maybe I'll play queen takes d4 in that situation. So here I can grab the a7 pawn, actually, and hit the bishop again, but queen c7, and my queen looks really, really uncomfortable, and I am spending quite a few moves. So I do have to be careful. And then also d4 will look really shaky. So considering all of that, I don't know if I want to really go for the a7 pawn yet. If I was already castled, absolutely, I would go for this a7 pawn right away. But here in this position, I just don't feel that comfortable going after it. I just feel like I'll fall a little too behind in development. A little too behind. So I'm expecting now him to take this, actually. I can't take with... I guess maybe I can take with the knight. Let's see. Knight takes, the knight c3 is a discovered attack on the bishop, and then also the queen. So I'll have to take, and then bishop takes g2. That doesn't look like a very good option for me. So he plays queen c7 first. I think this definitely is the right time for me to go ahead and get castled up now. Yeah, black is just playing natural developing moves here. I'm getting his rook to the half open d file. So a7 is of course poisoned because rook a8, I will lose my queen right away. Feel a little bit cramped in this position for some reason. Like I don't have that many good squares for my pieces. I'm thinking taking on c5 and then playing queen to g4. But then knight f6 comes. Maybe queen here to h4. Either way, I feel like I need to give my queen a little bit more breathing room right now, like on this fourth rank, because she doesn't feel not feeling very comfortable just being on this a diagonal here. Thinking maybe going all the way here. Actually, no. Let's play here first. I want to get his knight over here first. Yeah, it'll open up the d file, and after trading the rooks, my rook will feel a little uncomfortable here. There's always going to be some crazy tactic with queen takes here. Rook takes check. Bishop has to go here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll trade here first. But then I kind of lose this open file, so I'm not going to do that. Let's go ahead and get our queen here. There's some ideas of sacrificing at some point on h6 with knight g5 to follow, but I don't think it works just yet. Right now, the threat is actually to take this, and then if he takes, then I'll take the knight here. So he will need to play something like queen here, maybe a knight here, something like that. Or move that knight. That's another idea. Here I'm really considering a sacrifice on h6. So bishop h6, g takes, queen takes. Does it work? Get my knight in there. He'll play f6 or something probably. Yeah, I don't think I have enough for this sacrifice to work, honestly. Don't think I have enough. So we need to find a different approach. I just played the queen back again now to see if he wants to repeat with knight f6 or does he want to try some other way to defend. Looks like he wants to repeat. I think if he repeats again, it should be a draw. And I think I'd be okay with a draw. I mean, not better or worse here. It's a pretty even position, I think. Thing is that I don't really have that many constructive moves in the position. Okay. He wants to trade. Didn't want the draw. It's okay. It's totally fine. Likely he'll play other knight here, maybe, or something like that. Not sure yet. But bishop f4 seems to be the next logical move for me. Assuming he'll take care of this threat, on bishop h6 here. So bishop f4, queen c5 will come probably. Bishop e3. Queen will probably attack this pawn, so I think I'm going to start with this move. Although queen c2 doesn't look very fun right now, actually. My queen is kind of misplaced, I feel like, on this side of the board. Hmm. Maybe I'll attack this knight like this. Oh no, that allows this pin. That's kind of annoying. My queen really needs to be able to come back to this side of the board. That's the problem right now. Maybe queen f4 is an interesting idea here. Queen c5, then queen e3, queen c2. I'll just swing the rook back maybe or something. Queen c5, queen e3 is there. Queen c2, rook f1 perhaps. Either way, it's good to have this communication with the queen and the bishop actually. Oh, here actually I just realized he can take and then play rook c2. If I take with the bishop, then he'll play rook c2, and he might be able to win one of the two pawns. Yep, definitely miscalculated a little bit. So we're gonna have to take with the pawn, I think, after he takes the queen. Yeah, definitely a slight miscalculation there. Allowing him to jump in with the rook will be kind of not fun. Unfortunately, I can't get my rook to d7 as a response because of this knight. After taking this way with the queen, and we'll still have the bishop pair to go with it. Yeah, we'll have messed up pawn structure, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, so he doesn't go for that line. Chooses to go this direction. So here my plan was just to, I'm going to drop the pawn here on e2 if I do this. Rook f1. So I need to go here maybe. This knight on e4 is very well placed. Very annoying piece to deal with in this position. So I got to get rid of it very quickly. Here I might have an interesting move I can try, which is this right here. Because that attacks the knight and the queen at the same time. meaning this, two defenders, but the queen isn't also hit. And the queen has to go to b1 or something to hold onto this knight, I think. Unless he wants to attack my knight. So then if I take here, he'll take and pin my bishop to the queen. Actually, no, that's... Yeah, he'll just take my knight, right. We'll be even piecewise. Oh, no, that leads to this check, and then I'll win the queen. That won't work. That won't work very well for him at all. Queen c4 will lose, I believe. Unless there's another tactic he can use to try to win that knight back. Which I'm not totally sure about. Queen b1 might be actually forced here. Queen b1 is a horrible move to have to play, though. I mean, it's not the worst in the world, because I can't really... Oh, okay, so that is interesting. Does that drop a pawn? I mean, a piece, is the question I need to ask myself. I think it does, honestly. Although, after knight takes, there's some queen takes c1 business that's not going to be fun to deal with. So he just takes this way. I guess I'll take back. Now queen takes c1, rook takes check, king g2, bishop b7. I can just take the bishop. So that doesn't work. Yeah, he just resigned because there's really no way to now get the piece back. Like, he can't take this anymore now. And these little tactics are not working. Although I don't know. I guess he's solidly down a piece, but yeah, I guess after knight f3, there's really nothing here in this position. Just down a piece, so good game from my opponent. Very good game. I think we did extremely well as well. So let's analyze and see if we missed anything, any ways we could have improved our play. We'll give the computer a few seconds to look over this game, give us its thoughts. All right, let's analyze. Looks like it's done calculating. So 7 inaccuracies, no mistakes, no blunders, 31 average centi-pawn loss. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. Some inaccuracies here and there, but no mistakes, no blunders. It's a good game. Opponent, 2 mistakes, 2 blunders, 2 inaccuracies, 54 average centi-pawn loss. So all of this is mainline standard stuff for the Nimzo. Different ways to play the Nimzo Indian. I play with queen c2, which is the most common move, I believe, in the position. Oh no, e3 is the most common. But I don't like the idea of giving the doubled pawns so early. A lot of times after e3, black just can take it. So I like to play with queen c2, so that if he takes, I'll take back with the queen and maintain my pawn structure. So he castles. Now I play a3 here, which is the most common move, immediately challenging that bishop, and either it has to go back to e7, or most cases black just takes it, so they don't waste time moving the bishop back and forth. So queen takes, obviously. Pawn takes would just really make this queen move. I mean, it wouldn't make the queen move look silly because the queen is well placed on this diagonal, but generally people take back with the queen, as you can see from the database. The idea is that if you're going to take with the pawn, then you have no reason to commit your queen to c2 this early in the game. Queen could be better placed on a5, a4, b3, maybe d3 in some cases, d2 in some cases. So committing the queen basically means you're going to take back with the queen. So here I just maintain my opening principles, developing knights before bishops. And it's my least active piece that can be activated right now. Bishop is already kind of guarding a lot of squares here, so no need to move this bishop yet. Don't know yet where I'm going to put this bishop. Could go on g2, could go on d3, e2. But the knight, we know for sure, is going to go on f3. So we go ahead and develop the pieces which we know for sure what their best squares are. So he goes ahead and trades right away. I've seen a lot of players do this. If they want to put the bishop on this long diagonal, they go ahead and open that up pretty quickly. I don't think it seems to be the most popular move. I don't know. I guess it's okay. It's okay to do it this way. b6. So now we pin the knight with bishop g5. Best move in the position, most commonly played. Bishop a6 is the most commonly played move. Interesting. I didn't realize that. So I thought about queen here, but then queen d7 comes. I thought if queen here, I thought he would just play this. And then I have to move my queen, so which means I just helped him kind of develop this queen a little bit, I guess. But I mean, it's hard to say. I don't if the queen is even well placed on d7 in these positions. But anyway, I just feel like it's not. It's better. I mean, it's better placed on d7 than it was on d8. I feel like breaking the pin, and I don't know. Didn't want to really go for that idea, so that's why I put it on c2. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of difference between the two moves in terms of objective evaluation of the position. So knight d7 here. Continue developing pieces naturally. So here I didn't play e4. That does sound interesting though. So after e4, he'll take, and I'll take with the rook. That's interesting. Rook takes doesn't seem like a very human type of move to me. A lot of people do it though. Wow. Kramnik Kasparov game here. That's interesting. Carlson game here. Very interesting to know that people take with the rook here. I guess they plan to castle queenside or something, maybe? I don't know. It's an interesting move to me. But I'd take with the king if I were to play this way. And then see here, it's interesting because it's even hard to. I mean, you can't even play g3 and king g2 here. So white plays with the king in the center like that. The rook stuck on h1. I don't know. I don't personally. I would not play this way personally. This doesn't seem like it's my style, but maybe works for some people. But e4 is basically a principled move, though. You take up the center. Black is giving you the center, and there's important squares to take up, so why not take it? Even if it means your king is awkwardly placed for a little bit. But I chose a different path. I played g3, which is obviously an inaccuracy, it seems like. I guess gives too many central squares in light squares to black is the reason why it's inferior to the e4 move. So black tries with h6 first. And instead of giving up the bishop back, I wanted to maintain the bishops. So I actually brought my bishop back to f4. He could have tried knight d5 hitting the bishop again, in which case I would have probably put it on d2. Rook c1. So I played ahead. I went ahead and played this move, rook to d1 here, just to discourage the c5 move a little bit. But I guess black can really play the move if he wants to. But it just kind of puts a little bit of psychological pressure on your opponent because they know that their queen is about to get lined up against the enemy rook. Objectively, probably c5 still works without any issues. Because of this line, we calculated a little bit, and queen b1. It's probably fine because queen's going to move in a second somewhere on c8 or something, and then, he's gotten rid of my central pawn. So, in the game, it did work, though, because he didn't play c5. He played this first. Computer is suggesting some really interesting moves, like queen c6. I guess to stop the c5 move, but does give up the bishop and messes up white's pawn structure. So I think I like bishop c1 the most. And he played c5 now. I threw in queen a4, bishop b7, bishop g2, queen c7. I was expecting him to take on d4 here, but he played this. Castle, rook d8. Then I took now, trying to launch some sort of operations on the king side. Since I saw that I had the bishop pointing this way, my queen could come in, my knight is ready to hop in. I got 3 pieces that are all sort of coordinating towards the piece. So that's usually a general rule of thumb, is if you have 3 pieces that are sort of like around the king, 3 or more pieces, there's chances are, an attack could happen, basically. If I also had the bishop, say like I had a bishop on b1 or something like that, absolutely. I mean, definitely there's combinations and attack possible. This is the only piece that really is not participating, that could be participating in that attack. But even just having these 3 pieces definitely gave me some potential possibilities for some combinations. So at the end of the day, I don't know if sliding over the queen that way was the best decision, but practically speaking, it's something that I think at this point in my chess understanding, I would go for, and I think it's okay to do. So I took, he took, and then yeah, sure enough, computer does also suggest swinging the queen over to the queen side. In this case, there's no other, or king side rather. In this case, there's really no other option. Queen c2, I think, is a kind of a strange place to put it. There's all sorts of discoveries that can come. But I played this queen g2 first to try to get the knight to come to f6, so then I can play here and threaten this little combination. Oops, sorry. I guess it's fine to do that. So now queen f4 is being suggested. Okay, that makes sense. It's actually a really good time to play queen f4, honestly. Instead of playing it later like we did, right now would have been the time to play go for queen f4 ideas. I agree. But I played h4, queen h4. So he could have taken, takes, and played this. This is kind of what happened in the game, actually. It's basically what happened. But we just threw in an extra couple of moves here. So here, okay. So this move kind of lets go of a lot of his advantages, I guess. After e4, he comes back. Bishop comes in with a lot of tempo, and okay, queen has to move, and white basically takes over the initiative. So that's kind of what's happening here. But I don't know. I didn't really want to move this e-pawn for some reason in this game. Just play it back. We repeat it once. I basically offered him a draw with this move because he can just repeat it and it should be a draw after my next move. If he goes here again, and I go here, that's a threefold repetition, I think. Oops. Anyway, so then he takes. That knight was really, really strong on e4, honestly. Very strong knight. Just very, very well placed, defended by so many points. Very hard to get rid of. It's kind of ironic that that's the knight he ended up losing later in the game. A knight that was so well defended and seemed like was the main attacking and piece and thorn in my position. So, yeah, interesting how he lost that knight. Queen f4. Queen c2, rook e1. So here, computer is finding this move g5. I didn't really consider this too much in the game. Queen here. Knight here is definitely a lot of initiative for black. Very uncomfortable position for white. Lots of attack on f2 now. Absolutely does not seem like a fun position to play. I wonder if h3 will work here. He gets in this move. Yeah. If the queen has to move off the protection of the f2, then he's going to take. So to h3 is definitely not a good idea. Couldn't he play this move anyway? And then take on f2. Yeah, I guess white has to give up that pawn. There's really no way to hold on to that. So wow, okay. This g5 was really a strong move then. We didn't really calculate this. g5 followed by knight g4. So he threatens e2. We then this is kind of where, yeah, I think he just kind of starts getting shaky for him. Well, the computer is really not liking my move at all. I thought this was what I thought was the winning move. But yeah, during the game, actually, sorry, I take that back. It wasn't really the winning move. It was the move that was going to make his queen feel awkward. But I think the queen is really well placed on b2. Now that I think about it, kind of pins my bishop. Really, there's no good way to really take advantage of this queen on b1. Yeah, I mean, I'm apparently worse after this queen b1. So definitely something I should have, I would have had to figure out over the board what to do after queen b move like queen b1, which I was ready for. Obviously, we talked about queen b1, but I think the move that he played loses on the spot, which is this. Or if it doesn't. Interesting. After this, oh, he has a fork on e5. I didn't even see that in the game. I totally missed this fork idea to get his piece right back. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely didn't see this at all. Totally missed this fork trick. That's why the computer suggests taking this first, and after it takes, then taking this, which kind of is an equal position somehow, even though he's down a pawn. I'm not totally sure why this is considered an equal position. I guess his bishop's of opposite color. Both sides have active pieces, but I think if anyone is going to win this game, it's definitely going to be white, of course. Extra pawn. Black has a weakness on e6. Very difficult to attack this weakness on e6 because I don't have the light square bishop. And his queen is very actively placed as well as his rook on the open c file. So I see why it's showing as a computer's suggesting this is an equal position. This was the line to go for, but he doesn't play the e5 trick. Instead plays this, which automatically drops a piece because now there's no way to get the knight back on d4 anymore. So he just simply has to give up the knight, and just that. I'll just move the knight back to f3 or something and just play a regular game and convert my extra piece into a win. So that's why he resigned in this position. So hopefully you guys got something out of this game. I definitely did. We were patient. We didn't make any hasty sort of decisions or any brash, decisions at any point of the game. Yeah, pretty solid calculation with the exception of missing g5, the idea with g5, and also the fork trick with e4, e5 that he had in the position. Otherwise, I think it was overall a pretty okay game. So I'll catch you guys in my next video. Comment below and in the comments, let me know what kind of videos you want to see, and I'd love to make those kind of things.